96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
La 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 la. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. But I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Don't take no back talk, no bribe or no joke. If you find fire, you definitely find smoke. Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Bintan, I say up and running. Caliban say my show boy don't ever give in. 7 years of farm and watch the crops them coming. True they see a humble thing, the lion sleeping. But they ain't for no reason. Only God that I believe in, living. Watch them only pass through for a season. Godless, I gon' weed them. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Don't take no back talk, no bribe or no joke. If you find fire, you definitely find smoke. Bintan, bro. Boy, I from
Good night, Bahamas, and welcome again to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm host of the talk show Inside the Inner City that premieres every Friday at 6:30 to 8 p.m. Except all of this. Telephone numbers tonight are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and you can text us, powered by BTC, at 422-GR96, and you can listen in Cable Bahamas on the 969 Cable Bahamas. And today we're going to have a topic. We're going to be talking about how the police serves its purpose in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We want to highlight some of the good stuff that they do to protect us in the country, and then we want to talk about some improvements that can be made based on cases pending against civilians, and how we can improve the relationship between the police and the community at large. And then we're going to talk about one of the latest murders that happened recently in the community of Grunstein, Comfort Street, which is the community that I reside in. 3 of the young men in the past 3 months. And as a result of that, there have been other shootings before that can be connected. Some is not connected. It's just that the country right now is in a, you could call it a conflict zone, where the younger generation of young men and females, they seem not to be able to reason. And we want to talk about that, and I want to just highlight some points about the families and how they are feeling, as females, and how it is affecting the community at large and the Bahamas at large, and that's to give a complete understanding of what's going on in our country. And if we don't try to be able to dialogue and focus our attention on where we need to put our attention, we're going to keep on having these incidents in our country. And inside the inner city, as part of the curricula And Guardian Radio asking to tell about the stories about the people in the inner city communities and finding solutions to these problems. It would be not only my pleasure to talk about the problems that we face and find solution, also being considerate that loved ones have been lost. So I have to have a dialogue where I'm non-biased. I'm not a biased person, where I also be able to console the families, because, a loss of life is a loss of life. And the love and the pain, that the families, are going through, all around Nassau, New Providence. It's excruciating. You cannot explain it. So I just want to have that dialogue to the families and then, explain some things, what is going on, and see how we could come to a conclusion on the way forward. I also want to give an update on the progress of the community recently. Just recently, the community of Grandstand was able to host the Royal British Navy as part of a giving back hurricane preparedness. They were here 4 years ago around Hurricane Dorian, and they came to the Bahamas, and they were the first responders, and their job was to assist any way possible. And on their journey to the Bahamas, they were able to bring water, set up tents, emergency personnel, doctors, nurses, setting up stations. Tremendous work by the British Royal Navy 4 years ago, as part of being an independent, so-called independent, but we're going to say so-called independent country. We are still part of the British monarchy, and as part of it, their job is still to assist us no matter what when it comes to humanitarian aid, and we would like to give our thanks to the British government and especially to the British Navy. So I just want to read a little paragraph of what happened in Grandstand and the partnership between Lenahan, Bahamas, the Rotary Club of East Nassau, and many other KK Tong, of Central Food Fair, and also Bishop Lloyd, who was in attendance. So let me just read here. It was HMS Dauntless lands in Nassau 4 years after Hurricane Dorian. Royal Navy's hurricane response ship helps communities prepare for hurricane season. Since the Bahamas was devastated by Hurricane Dorian, HMS Dauntless, a Royal Navy warship, docked in the brand new Nassau cruise port last Friday, an impressive physical display of the UK's commitment to ongoing partnership with the Bahamas, making a stop in Nassau on its journey around the region during the hurricane season, where it has also been making some major anti-drugs intervention. This wonderful opportunity proved beneficial for all over the course of the weekend. HMS Dauntless, a Type 45 destroyer, is the second ship of the Royal Navy Daring-class air defense destroyer. The ship is 50 foot long, can travel at a speed of 30 knots, top speed of 30 knots, and during hurricane season carries the response helicopter and large amounts of hurricane response stores, including engineering and water production equipment. The ship has over 200 crew on board with various duties, all contributing towards keeping us safe this hurricane season, led by Captain Ben Dorrington. On Friday morning, the officers on board HMS reached out to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force for 3 weeks, Bahamian graduates from the UK Dartmouth Naval College to assist with bringing the ship alongside in Nassau. So that's 3 Defense Force officers who recently graduated from the UK's Dartmouth Naval College, They allowed them to bring in the ship into our new port. A fantastic beginning to the weekend, allowing for experience gain, making connections and new experiences. Later on, they went to welcome local youth at the GGYA for a tour of the impressive ship. A fantastic experience for the children. Some Royal Navies had the opportunity to visit the Royal Bahamas Defense Force base at Coral Harbor and discuss relationship with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force officers. Sunday saw a huge crowd of over 60 volunteers departed from the ship to head to Bain and Grandstand to join Lenahan Bahamas, a non-profit organization focused on community development to create more resilient communities, to assist with hurricane preparedness and get involved in a community cleanup. They were also joined by several volunteers from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the Rotary Club of East Nassau, an inspiring collaboration of individuals working together towards the same goal, working through the relentless summer heat. All the volunteers work tirelessly to achieve their shared objective, ensuring a safer environment for Bahamians through the hurricane season. I was leading the crew of the Royal Navy, and we talk about the Bahamas being a violent country, and we hear all these travel advisory about do not come over the hill. In the Grandstand community for many years, I've taken on the responsibility of guests from around the world, and these soldiers was put in the hands of none other than Valentino brand to help them in the community project, as part of being a partner of Lenahan Bahamas. And as being the community leader of that community, I was given the task to make sure that the Royal Navy from Britain was safe. And this was a requirement by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Our inspector, who was my good friend, who did a tremendous job of overseeing and making sure that the traffic was cleared, because the soldiers, were going door to door, cleaning up all debris, garbage, and etc. before they went and put on the hurricane shutters on the old folks' home. So we had them for about 6 hours. We started about around 11. It was raining. We thought we wasn't going to get nothing done. And all of a sudden, the rain stopped. And, man, these soldiers were excited, So we gave them the task. And you imagine this. They're on a multi-million-dollar warship, battleship. Now, they come to the Bahamas. They're in the community, and they want to do some volunteer work. Now, we have to find something for these soldiers to do. And I'm always creative, so I know I'm still cleaning up. So I said to Miss Pritchett, to Mitzi, we're going to put this together where we can have these soldiers, who are actually guests, even though they are soldiers on a battleship. Now, these guys, them tote the most sophisticated weapons, but yet still when they're in the Bahamas, they have to make sure that they follow rules and regulation. And even as soldiers and having one of the most deadliest battleships, they were put in the hands of Lenahan Bahamas and myself to make sure they were safe. And this was a requirement because the what you call them now, the sub-commander who was in charge of the soldiers, he was speaking to me personally, and this was made a requirement along with the police standing there. And our community is safe regardless of what's going on. Those are just pocket incidents, and people are looking for their specific targets. And anyone who are around these persons who, are targets can be in harm's way. So that's what's happening around the country, not only in Grand, so there are people who are intended target, and then, these guns are letting out a lot of bullets, and they can't control these bullets. And these guys, they have blood in their eyes, they have vengeance in their eyes. So when they come to get whoever they get to come, and they spot them, adrenaline is going. They just let loose, and sometimes in the crossfire, innocent people get hurt. Yeah, so it was a tremendous job they did. I admired them. They went, follow orders. They work as a team. No argument when they once given the task, along with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force now, because I was also put in charge of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and they did an extremely great job of collaboration. But what I want to say to the general public is that these soldiers who are trained, they still had a safety issue based on the travel advisory they hear about this country. But I just like to say the travel advisory of this country shouldn't be for tourists. The travel advisory should be for Bahamians because we have a problem with Bahamians. I always say this. If we have 100 murders, which we are close to this year, and if you look at the statistics, you won't find one tourist who visited from Canada, Germany, France, United States of America has been killed with a firearm in this country or starved to death. It's very rare. So the 100 murders we have in the capital or around Nassau, New Providence, the victims are not going to be tourists. They're going to be Bahamians. We have a black on black syndrome crime in the country, not a white and black crime in Nassau, Bahamas. So the travel advisory is very wrong. And I proved that by bringing in guests from around the world in the community of Grandstand. And I'm talking with soldiers. I'm talking about, we had the British High Commissioner there, I think, and all. Let me see. We had when discussing the HMS Dauntless visit to the Bahamas, High E had to say on the 4th anniversary of the hurricane, it is that I can welcome Dauntless to the Bahamas. The Royal Navy was the first international response in 2019 and was able to deploy engineers, Marines, freshwater, and blah, blah, blah. And he said he wanted to thank the people of Nassau for welcoming the crew so openly. I am glad this has given us the chance to bring Britons and Bahamians closer together. So that's what we did for the Bahamas. And we can make the Bahamas a better place. But the soldiers them went in the yards, left fridge, left all abandoned stoves. You know, they were cutting grass. You know, they was doing such tremendous work. And we went along the whole of Lewis Creek. Then some of them went on the park with the Rotary Club of East Nassau, and they played basketball with the whole 30 kids. They interact with the community as they was walking through. They was welcome in the community by the neighbors as they saw the soldiers walking through the community. Many people walking, so much questioning, you know, and I'm telling them they're soldiers, and that's the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and they only giving back. You know, I'm telling them about the ship, and they're seeing these stuff. They say, go on Facebook and look at those guys on the warship. You say, what? The people are saying, those guys on the warship, and they ran here helping us out. I say, wow, that's amazing. So it shows you the accomplishment we can do if we work together. So I would like to give a word of thanks to the Rotary Club of East Nassau and all of its members. Development is taking shape in the Grandstand community. But surely, even though there are incidents happening, things have to happen until things can get better. We can't solve all the problems at once in the country, but just a collaboration like this, and if we keep it up, we can be able to solve a lot of the problems that are plaguing our country today. And I want to thank the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. I want to thank the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I want to thank the Rotary Club of East Nassau. Again, that's my favorite club. And to all the members, because they've been working with me individually, and they've been working together as a team with Lenan Bahamas and many projects that is brought up. I would also like to give thanks to Ms. Sheila Pritchett, Mitzi, and the whole team at Lenan Bahamas, East Creek Gospel Chapel Church, Pastor Ed Dorset, the Melis family, the Simonet family, and all those who contributed to the wonderful success of the program that's just been, and also to the community residents and to the community boys and girls who accompanied the soldiers and took them to the park and let them have a wonderful time interacting. Besides cleaning up, you know, then it was, after we finished cleaning up, it was eats and drinks, and we interact, and there was bears given out. We were talking to the soldiers. They were so open. You know, they say, man, they had such a fabulous time. You know, they were interacting with the kids, the female soldiers who were part of the British Royal Navy. You know, some of those little girls, you know, they were interacting with those young female soldiers from the British naval ship. And they were teaching them how to plait their hair. And man, you could see how happy I can with the community resident. Just a thumbs up and a win for everyone. I want to thank the Bahamas government for a wonderful partnership also, and show that we can change the dynamics of our country if we learn to work together, put ego aside, and just work together for something that is bigger than all of us. So as an ambassador for my community, I'm quite pleased with the success we had over the weekend with the Royal Navy and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and Rotary Club of East Nassau. Okay, now I get to my topic. Good night, everyone. And I know many of you listen sometime, and some of you might, don't like my tone of voice. But I'm speaking from a personal perspective. I'm not a biased person. I don't hate on no organization. I don't hate on the church. I don't hate on the beliefs. I don't hate on the community. I'm just a person who's trying to have a conversation so that we see the problems that we have and see how we could fix it. The church can improve. We inherited a system, that's supposed to be helping people build their lives so that people can prepare themselves for heaven, not for hell, okay? And we can improve because the church, for its objective and what the church was really formed for, is these words: to make sure all needs were met. Collection was gathered for in the church. Collection days gathered for building the church and buying the church car and etc. Yeah, that's all good. But the collection was to make sure that the members of the church, the poor and needy, those who are rich and have businesses inside the church, were able to give to the priest. And the priest was able to disperse the funds to the right set of people to get in the family's hands so that they can improve the conditions of their lives. So that's the first objective of the church, to make sure all needs were met. And that's what I speak upon. The church can do more to make sure that many people's needs are met, because we have a lot of hurting people in this country. So now let's go to my topic. So when I speak on the matter, I'm not hating. I love God, I love Jesus, but I know his real name. I just see some false doctrine that we need to speak the truth. And then if we inherit a system that we know how we should call it, it's reverse psychology, and we fall into that trap. But let's use it. Hey? Let's use it for what it really was designed for, and that to make sure that when we see the poor and suffering, that we make sure that everyone's need is met. So that's why I speak on the church, because I know they can do more. Okay, let me get to my topic. I said that I was going to say how the belief serves its purpose. The beliefs over the last 100 years have been the backbone of keeping law and order in the country. Without the beliefs, we'd have chaos in the country, because we have people who don't abide by the law, and then we have some people who break the law. And everything for the police to go after these individuals and try to apprehend them and put them before the court and to get them off the streets, then we'd have chaos in our country, okay? When there's a complaint being made about a neighbor and there's a back and forth, you can call the police. And hopefully if they do a proper investigation, because not because you call the police, that means you're in the right. You could be calling the police and you're in the wrong, but if the police is not going to do a proper investigation and see who the complaint filed against and have a one-on-one with them to see their side of the story and see if everything match up, and then they're going to decide, well, who was right and who was wrong, they serve their purpose in that way also. Traffic accidents, they serve their purpose. They serve their purpose in so many different ways in the country that we can't comprehend what the country would be like without the police, okay? They keep the traffic flowing. They make sure that people drive in the right manner. Make sure you turn on your signals, your brakes light working. All this, they serve a purpose, a big purpose. And we appreciate them for that. Notwithstanding the fact that, we all know that there needs to be improvement. And when I say there needs to be improvement, when we look at some of the instances where citizens have lost their lives in the crossfire of members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, a citizen would know that, hey, this was an innocent person killed by the police. And then the police, would defend the officers. And just as I rate the country, and I rate and cause the division between the police and the citizen. And as good as a remarkable job that the police are doing for the country, all this good stuff I talked about, we're not taking that away. But on this end here, it sends a message that, a mistake was made where the community know, like for instance, Lil D and Mason. I know the whole Lee family. Muff is my classmate. I know Johnny Lee. I know Delton. And I know many of them. And they're a big family in Mason. And when we heard that, and I know both Dee's mom and dad. Chubby is his daddy. I know his mom too, one of Lee's sisters. And we all know the story about it. And it was a case of mistaken identity where a young man lost his life. And then witness it. And they was giving their side of the story, and the police was giving their side of the story. And, the police said, no, it was a robbery attempt there was a convenience store that we all go to, John Taylor. And I think normally we all would go there for noodles and sauce and, cup of tea, small convenience store. And according to the information, it got robbed on, and then person matched the description, and, most of us in the community wear the same clothes. And according to what was said on that part of the community, she has to say, but it adds up because this actually what happened because everyone's saying the same thing. And they said, the person ran in the vicinity, and at the same time, the matching description came true, and the officers, could have mistaken, and not the officers could, they think he was the person, and then you would panic, seeing officers come to the shortcut because you walk in, and then guns drawn, so automatically you'd be startled, and then he must have made a little move because, that's how it is, you just be startled because, there's two officers. The officers are doing their job. I want the public to notice they're doing their job because armed robbery was reported. So based on the high crime and the high rate of armed robberies happening in the country, these officers have their families also, and they have to go home. And that don't mean they have to act rogue or shoot first and ask questions later, even though the country is a conflict zone where we having like close to 100 murders a year. So the police, are vigilant and they are on high alert. So in between there, a mistake could have been made or have been made, and a young man lost his life. And then I was listening a few days ago where the lawyer for the family was saying, there were so many technicalities where the officers themselves removed the gun, so-called gun, allegedly is D's gun. But the officers removed the firearm from the scene of the crime. And then also their service revolver, who they were supposed to tie over to the corners, was never given in a timely fashion. So how did you know that this gun was not put there? Or there was a gun there, or they could switch the guns, and et cetera. And all these points were made up, and this is not part of the protocol. So protocol was broken as part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force when it comes to the corners and investigation when a life is lost. Because you have to give an explanation for firing your gun, and you have to give an explanation why this young man is dead. And then there have to be investigators, because it's not a crime scene. It's a crime scene for the police, and they have to investigate to give closure to the family. At the same time, the family, the Mason is just like probably the liaison whole family. So everyone came out, and then there was turmoil, and people were saying this and that. And to many, that's where they felt bad about it. And that's where many loses distrust with the police. Now, I think the family of the young man got killed in Farrington Road, I think there's investigation and they find officers. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it for you. Sorry. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second, because I think I have it on my Facebook. Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick.
Rid of cockroaches,
Sorry.
flies, mosquitoes, in addition to removing dust, dirt, and perfuming your entire home.
Yeah, so, they will. Like I said, the officers, that don't give us the right to just shoot first and ask question. And the family, was being restless for many years. And then I saw, like I said a few days ago, the case now has been before the court. And they rules manslaughter in Evans' death. And what that means now is that it's not a criminal case, but it's at being fault that the officers are at fault. So just like what the community was saying and the family was saying and everyone else was saying, the officers now will either be put before the court, that's up to the Attorney General's office, to face a manslaughter charge. We don't know that. And these are the kind of stuff we're talking about. So the citizens were right, the family were right, and there were protocols broken by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And I'm saying I'm not attacking the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I want this to help improve the communication with the Bahamian public, to bring that trust back again, where we could trust the officers. We know that they're doing a tremendous and stressful and very dangerous job. People just remember what I'm saying now. We have 100+ murders per year, okay? We have like close to 500, 600 armed robbery every year. Abuse is high in our country. Sexual assault is high in our country. Rape is high in our country. Police brutality is high in the country. Just as well, I talked about the assault of individual armed robbery. So if we keep this up, we're fighting against one another. Police are doing that, and then the citizens, themselves are doing it because, poverty and no opportunity. It's crazy. You understand? And we always have the whole integrity and honesty. Now I'm listening to the lawyer now. You can go on Eyewitness News and hear the whole story. The coroner's court judge rules homicide by manslaughter in Evans' death. That's illegal. And we have seen about 4 other cases like this where people have lost their loved ones and we are finding guilty homicide by manslaughter. No one has yet been put before the courts for criminal charges. So I guess it's a step in the right direction. But I just want to say to the general public, you might be saying this is not enough. We want more. We want to see these officers go to jail. Remember, we are fighting against a system that has been around a long time and they've been using this tactics for many years. Now that it has been exposed by the citizens, people like Edwin's family and the Lee family and the Majors family who are getting their private investigators and to come and do their own reporting because they wasn't trusting the association and the coroner's court are saying. They just distrust that because basically, over the years, many people feel that the coroner's court was all police and they're not going to prosecute police. So we're tragically seeing some changes where we're seeing officers get charged now. The next step is now to see if they're going to face criminal charges. And I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that the advocate, again, from the Lee family, the Roll family, not the Roll family, the Lee family, the Evans family, and many other people who have lost their life. And there was a role, who have lost their life. And like I said, you're seeing many of the cases now are finding that these officers, committed manslaughter. If they're going to get guilty, if they're going to prison, I cannot say. That's for the maternity. But overall, we're seeing progress. And people want the truth, you understand? And for many years, we never had apology from the Royal Bahamas Police Force when it comes to someone losing their life, because they don't want to lose credibility. People would start to sue them on a regular basis, and they don't want to lose that what you call power. Wade is the big bad wolf. And see, it's not the individual officers, It's just the system that has been programmed them over the years, because the power they inherit has gotten so that is make them delusional, to make them not think what they're doing to the country when they know that officers who are on the Royal Bahamas Police Force made a mistake, but yet still could cover it up and make it seem that the family is in the wrong. And then this is one of the reasons why the Bahamian public now don't fully cooperate with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, because of the power, privilege that many of the officers display themselves. And then other incidents, I was watching on Facebook, and I think it was a taxi drivers was on somewhere downtown. First, let me talk about the one I saw driving with the tourist, elderly gentleman, probably in his 50s. I don't know. I'm watching one part of the Facebook flick, so I can't say if the taxi drivers at fault or the police officers at fault. But sometimes you watch one part of Facebook or one part of the movie, and that's the middle, but you don't see the beginning. Let me explain it the best way I can and see by looking at it from the middle and hearing the response of the taxi driver, if he was threatening to the police officer, if he was behaving disorderly to the police officer, and I'd get into that. So I saw on the footage where he had a taxi full of tourists, and the officer told him, get out, and then tell him spread his hand. See, this is what bothers me here. Is this taxi driver a murderer? Is this taxi driver an armed robber who just committed an indictable offense? Is this taxi driver someone who just wielded a gun or just committed a serious offense for this officer to aggravate when we have guests? You want to say to us that we got to show hospitality to the guests, but what about when we have officers who are actually blatantly using their power, and then we have guests there? What you have to say about that? Now, like I said, I don't know if the taxi driver cursed the officer or said something insulting to the officer. I didn't see him that way. He was talking to the officer nice in a nice, calm voice, and the officer just trimmed against the bus. And the taxi driver said, you're going to do this to me? And he's a taxpayer, and I pay your paycheck? So that's the question. Should the officer manhandle that particular taxi driver the way he handled him? Is this taxi driver committed a murder? No. See, an officer should use the aggression like that when he is facing a person who shoot at the police, or a person who is resisting the arrest, cursing them and is in the wrong, or get some type breaking into somebody's house, or the police is telling you to be quiet and to stay still, and they consistently be harassing the police officer, intimidating, cursing, then the police has no choice to do that. Yeah, in those cases. But if you're a citizen who was not breaking no law, and you are a law-abiding citizen, and you're having a conversation with an officer, the officers are supposed to sit down and listen and try to de-escalate the situation, because that is a taxi driver. He is not a guy who just killed somebody. He is not a rapist. He is not an armed robber. So your approach should be different. He is a citizen who is contributing, and he's just as important as you as a police officer, as him being a taxi driver. But he has to interact with these tourists from all around the world to show them that the Bahamas is a wonderful place. And then what you guys could do, you go embarrass him, then you could put cuffs on him. And he's not a murderer. See, the police should be rogue if my picture is wanted in the police station. Okay? Or someone make a threatening complaint where I try to take their life or I rape somebody and the evidence is proven. Other than that, if you pull me over a traffic offense and I am a law-abiding citizen, you should not be harassing me when I'm a law-abiding citizen. I only run the red light. So give me say, good night, sir. You run the red light. Could you give me a reasonable reason for why you run the red light? Say, officer, I really was busy and I was thinking a lot, and I'm really, really sorry about it. Could you give me a break? If you can't give me a break, what's the fine? Let me run your name to your computer. If you have no priors or no criminal record, I give you a break today. But please, next time, drive with due care and caution, and please stop when you see the red light on caution, okay? And that's the kind of stuff we want to help with our officers. Now, then the next incident I saw on Facebook, this was the bus drivers. And this was the inspector. Now, like I say, I only glimpsed the part again where the gentleman was standing up and someone was trying to take the plates off the bus. So the gentleman was explaining to the officer, explaining to the inspector, who's supposed to understand that these people are taxpayers. They are not criminals. So there's no reason for the inspector to get so riled up where he is not de-escalating the situation. He should not be getting riled up like that because the taxi driver, the bus driver is only a bus driver. They have a license. They are not wanted for no type of criminal offenses. So why would you irate a person who's contributing to development of the country based on your superiority in this power you get that you inherit from the British, and you're applying it to your brother who's working just like you? Why not just listen for a second? But no, you was inspector. You can't tell me no. The man saying, I ain't doing nothing. And it's an officer, that inspector, who was completely out of order. Completely out of order based on the Facebook. And the tourists were right there. So this is the kind of example, and this is the kind of Royal Bahamas Police Force that we as citizens supposed to have in our country. The guests was there, other citizens there, and you could see all the people around who standing around saying, man, he ain't do nothing. And this officer was all around, he was choking this man on the ground. You're an inspector. You don't need to act that way. Just listen, and then if you need assistance, you could always call in your backup. You had a backup officer, and the officer didn't want to do nothing. He didn't want to help you because he could see that inspector was out of order. And then again, like I say, it's two sides of the story. I don't know if that particular individual said something so threatening to the officer gets so riled up that he forget that this guy is a law-abiding citizen. See, that taxi driver and the bus driver, they're law-abiding citizen. They're not wanted. Your attitude toward citizens who's not wanted should not be that way. Your attitude supposed to be for prisoners who are escaping from a mandatory prison or a guy who is wanted from the police who is causing havoc. That's when the law should apply. But for persons like bus drivers and taxi and persons who are abiding by the law and are not wanted, your approach cannot be that way. Your approach can't be the same as you approaching the criminal who was armed and who was dangerous. No. On that hand, I just want to say this too. We have some stink people with stink attitude who themselves don't follow authority, and like I say on the flick, some people could be cursing the police and cause the police get irate. So we also have to look on our side as citizens to also try to de-escalate the situation as well, because sometimes we be the big part of the problem. You understand? You understand what I'm saying, general public? And this is the kind of stuff I like to talk about because I have a clear understanding about these things. This year is very disturbing, and this has been happening so much in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. in the Tribune, says here, woman left unable to see after police officer punched her in her eye. Okay? And if you read the newspaper, you'd see. Like I tell you, the lady giving her side of the story. Now, her side of the story could be true, just as well as false. But I ain't gonna lie, her eye closed down. And she had to go to the hospital, and then she have a retinal damage. She don't know if she's ever going to be able to see with her eye 100%. And if you read the newspaper, you would see where she was saying she was on the line. She don't know if this officer was a police. And she was saying, you know, how people were trying to get at her, you know, because she looked beautiful. And then, you know, some guys say one or two things. She said she's talking to somebody else, and then he got involved, and then it started from there. And then, you know, she started. He say something to her, insulting to her. She say something back to him, which she ain't know he's a police as yet. And then it went on from there. And then I think a little pushing and shoving. Now, he can't be a police officer. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know where the argument start, but if you read the newspaper, it seems like the woman is in the right because she has died with a point of what escalated the situation. And if you're reading it down the line, it seems like she's in the right and the officer is in the wrong because they're power struck. And again, this lady is a free citizen. Is she wanted for an officer to approach her and punch her in the eye? See, this thing you need to look at, you know. You understand? If you were a citizen and you have broken no law, why should the police approach you and you can't talk to them? They could say anything they want to say to you, but when you say something, they want to hit you, and then they charge you with assault, resisting arrest, and all this. And if he did hit this female in the eye, that's assault charge. And he should be brought on before the court for assault. Because the same way if the police put their hands on you and slap you as a citizen, that's assault. He has no right to slap you, okay? Unless it's reason of him have a justifiable cause, meaning that he came to this drug house and they have the search warrant and they're trying to get in this house, and the people trying to force them from not getting in the house, they have a right to use force. That is acceptable. Or there's a fight going on between two individuals and they're trying to stop it and no one is listening. Yeah, two of them need to get their head boys off because that's the only thing we calm them down. So yeah, in that instance where you know one will listen, the police have to show them who's the Babylon Blue. I am Constable Brand. They call me Boy Blue. I have me a warrant to arrest you because you beat up your girl in blue. I come to show what the Haley police can do. Yes. In that case. But she is a female. And as our Minister of National Security and our Commissioner of Police are looking at all these complaints and having the police before in the newspaper, this is alarming because it's been happening so much that we have become immune to it. Just like this murder, we become immune to it. Our system has become immune to it. So I'm advising if you're in the right and the police insist on having all these assault charges put against them while having people in custody, or when people are even out of custody, like this lady who was out minding her own business, and then she got in an argument with an off-duty police or somebody, an off-duty officer. Because he's a police officer and he have a big stripe, he decide that she needs to get locked up. And she get locked up. He was locked up and got to the station. How could you lock a citizen up who trying to express a sister who is just like you, is a Bahamian just like you, but because you ran that badge, you decide that, hey, she is alien, and if anyone say anything back to me, lock up. What is lockup? What I lock up for? So when I ask you what I lock up for, you go out, you lock up. Give me a probable cause for you even questioning me right now. Give me a reason, officer. Why are you questioning me right now? Have I breaking any type of law? You don't have no reason to question me. But when we get in a little argument, I lock up, but you can't give a probable cause. When I reach the station, it's just ought to be able resisting arrest. I explained that the other day. And like I said, I'm not against no police officer on the force. I have many great police officers over the years, and I have a great relationship with a lot of officers. I'm just saying that we could have a better system in the Bahamas. We have the best royal band in the world, the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Think about that. Thousands of bands around the world. Countries with millions and millions and millions of people. But yet still the Bahamas has the very best Royal Bahamas Police Force. Royal Bahamas Police Band. The best in the world. So why we can't have the best Royal Bahamas Police Force who shows compassion, who tells the truth and shows integrity. And when there's mistakes made, we correct those mistakes by apologizing and trying to train our officers on the mistakes of all the things I talked about. Train your officers on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Train them how to interact with Bahamian citizens who are not criminals. Okay? Train them how to de-escalate situation and save the court a lot of time and money. I went to court and spent over $10,000 over nothing being a good Samaritan. I had about 10 police officers almost kill me. And the lucky thing was a strong guy. I was able to save my life for nothing. And I explained the case to y'all about 4 or 5 years ago. And I went to court and I get charged with disorderly behavior, resisting arrest, obscene language. And when I talked to the Honorable Judge Swan, and she heard my evidence, she apologized to me. I won my case. I won all the charges, and she sent a bad message. I didn't even have to go on there. I was the one who was being the good Samaritan. I ended up before the court. And the guy who is the culprit who stole the tennis, who went to the police station and put in a false report, he was able to get 2 persons locked up. And he is the one who break the law. He is the one who steal the guy tennis. He is the one who's going to give a false report. Now, I locked up, and my friend locked up, and I have to spend about $10,000 for a lawyer for a 7-month period. That's the money that I'm supposed to use to go put my roof on my restaurant. That set me back like 2 years. You understand? It ain't right. A lot of people out there who get approached by the police are not criminals. They are law-abiding citizens. It's just that the police them are too aggressive. And when people ask questions back, like I had a female asked the individual what your problem is, and then he said something, and she said, yeah, he said, yeah, big thing, and she said, yeah, and he get mad, and then he won. No. Officers like this are unacceptable for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Either they're going to be disciplined and put back to anger management classes. You understand? And that's what the show all about. And then we're going to the second half. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside Inner City.
Brother Brown, I hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, Mr. Thompson.
I was listening with interest to what you were saying. One question arose in my mind: is it constitutionally sound what you were saying to the public? That's question number one. The thing, Brother Brown, is that most people, the average citizen, doesn't understand the law. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of law. When they appear before a magistrate, they read the penal code. That's the first time they're hearing that. It's to them. Our weakness is that we have never taught law to the Bahamian people. We have, how many lawyers you said there were? Over 2,000, eh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is not helping the average citizen. If we can get people to be taught how to behave how to conduct themselves in the community. In fact, there was a murder right in your area
Yes.
last night, and two others. One man died at
Yes.
the age of 20,
Yes.
and two others,
Got
a
shot.
man and a woman, went to the hospital. You're going to find that, and I see in my own area where these flare-ups occur,
Mm-hmm.
you will find that people will have a big argument in the house, and the nastiest things they be saying to each other,
Yes.
and comes out into the street.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes out into the street, I've seen it happen over and repeatedly. Then others get involved. Now, what I try to do in my area is I get on well with everybody.
You were senior
in
man up there,
my
sir.
area.
You was the senior man up there, sir. You was the
Yeah.
mayor up there.
I
You was
don't
the
get-
mayor.
I don't ever get personal with them.
No.
Because they had one party up here the other day, and I know the boy and his girlfriend. And I told him, now listen, see, I don't want to get into anything with you and her. I know both of you very well. I don't want to get into that. I had to stop him. And I said, if anything in dealing with the community, fine. And so you have to draw the line. And so people will come to you and tell you different things. You have to learn how to draw the line and handle it properly. Now, with these officers, we're not getting very good response from the police, from Central Police Station. They're always telling you they don't have no car, they ain't got no police officer, all kinds of things they come up with. They do not seem to understand if you can deal with these complaints, loud music, right in front of my place, unlawful assembly, which is contrary to law. People dumping garbage
Mm-hmm.
in other people's yards. People come and eat and they litter right in front of your gate.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, when I speak to them, they'll move. They move away. They don't argue with me. But it is a constant problem among people in the community. In fact, you got a few who are just irritating.
Yes, they just don't
It's
have no
not-
respect.
Yeah. It's not the majority of the people.
No, it's a few, it's
The
a few.
majority of people are fine.
It's just a few who
But you
keep on
got some
dumping.
irritants in there.
And,
And
yes.
according to the law, I don't have any powers of enforcement of law.
Yes, sir.
And as a justice of the peace, there's certain authorities I do have.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, the Magistrates Act says very plainly you're to quell disturbances and tumults.
Mm-hmm.
And when you call on the police, the Act says very clearly they are to assist and obey you. But they don't do that. The
That's-
police will come in the community and they don't even inform the justice of the peace about anything.
So I'm asking you a question, Mr. Thompson. They also come to you for search warrant, right?
Yeah, they do that, yeah.
When they ready, eh?
Yeah, that's ready.
You see,
But the point is, I told the chief superintendent,
Yes, sir.
when I did call him, he tells me, I don't know what I'm talking about. When I met him in person, I say, now listen.
You don't know what the justice of
you-
the peace says, eh?
Huh?
He says, eh?
No, you don't even know who the justice of the peace is.
You could sit in
That's
for.
the point. You
could
don't
sit
even know.
You could be sitting a judge. You could be a sitting judge and all, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right then.
He doesn't even understand. I said, the Attorney General's office didn't tell you nothing.
So how?
Then
We,
he tells me, say now, he was just on the job for about a couple of weeks.
what kind of police training this is?
You know, so, in fact, he was informed and told by some others that you're going into Fortune Castle, who you must meet with. But he didn't do that. Well, finally, he did come, and I spoke to him and his assistant, and I had no problem with that. But the point is, there has to be a strong working relationship
Yes, sir.
between the citizenry in the community and the police. Now, see, police headquarters right across the road, just a stone's throw away from our area. They will be quicker in Lyford Key before they come into Fortune Castle. They'll find themselves in Camp Road before they come into Fortune Castle.
Wow.
Because the people, basically, the citizenry has been ignored.
Yeah.
And that is a problem that the people have in this community. And so I think that they have to look at it objectively. In fact, I got to go and see the commissioner of police or his deputy because they keep sending us up there. I said, well, what's the point of having Central Police Station? What's the point of you being here? Because you can't help me at all.
So, Mr. Thompson, you would agree that the topic tonight we have is needy and it's informative, and you agreeing that we need to have a more comprehensive communication between the police and the citizens of the country, and especially the justices of peace like
No,
yourself.
you keep sort of fading out. Speak a little louder.
Well, I'm saying that our topic tonight is on the same par as when it comes to the relationship with the police and the communication.
Well, the relationship ought to improve. Right now, it's...
And we're hearing this, from a senior man like Justice of the Peace, Mr. Thompson. We're hearing this from him. Okay, General Public.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Thompson, for interrupting you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is that we had a good relationship with Brother Dean, who was Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police.
Stephen Dean.
Anytime anything was to happen by the police, he will always get me, say, I got to go to see Mr. Thompson. And he would come himself, you know.
Yes, sir.
He made sure of that. Everything the police was doing in here, I knew about it
Yes, sir.
before the community knew about it.
Yes, sir.
But they don't do that anymore. They just come in and do
that's-
an act as they please. Riding around in your car ain't doing nothing. I tell them you all need to get out of these cars and talk to the people.
That's right. Community policing.
Community police.
That's right.
And so the people could be familiar with
The officers.
We were well familiar with the officers under Stephen.
Yes. Because that was
They
the urban
knew me,
renewal.
I knew
That's
them,
true.
They knew the people across
That is
the
true,
road
that is
from me
true.
in the community. So we had that community relationship
Yes,
with
sir.
the police.
That's correct.
That is the best way to deal with criminal activity.
Yes.
And then you, Brother Brown, you'll have less criminal activity.
I
because
agree with
people
you.
have a better relationship.
I agree with you 150%, sir.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to hear what happened in your area last night.
Yeah, I'll talk about it real quick when you
Yeah.
finish.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and all the best to you.
Man, thank you very much, sir. You a senior man, and I also have the utmost respect for you when you speak. You speak
Yes,
with
sir.
authority, and you letting the Bahamian people know that there is a disconnect between the police force and our relationship can improve. And we want to thank you very much for your input, sir. You did very well tonight.
Thank you very much, Brother Brown.
My pleasure, sir, to have you
All the
on.
best.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you very much. And that is our senior citizen, but Mr. Thompson has contributed greatly to this country for many years. He speaks about the Constitution, and he's letting you know that we don't, and we need to study it, learn it, and stand up for your constitutional rights in the country as a citizen. Okay? Yeah, and I was talking about, Mr. Thompson, I was referring to the recent death, the family, the Moxie, lived through Lewis Creed many years. They're my family too. But I mean family. I have known Miss Moxie. She passed away. I've known Zion Moxie. He passed away too. I've known the entire family from I was a baby. And we lived through Lewis Creed. And everyone has problems in their family. I'm not trying to exclude or I'm just being upfront. Everyone has bad people in their family, and I'm not speaking on no particular family. And I've known this family for many years. And the family has gone through a lot in the last few years. I just give you a background to show you how everything ties in. But just recently, my good friend Maria, I talked to her a few hours ago. In fact, when I leave Ocha, I'm going to look for her and we're going to sit down and drink 1 or 2 beers. She just recently lost her son, what Mr. Thompson is talking about. Seth. I know his father, Al. His father lives in Canada, so he's flying over now to come and, help with, find out and help probably the funeral arrangements. I know Maria, she just lost us as a third oldest son, Seth. Then she lost him. Then a few months ago, about 3-4 months ago, she had a next son who was charged with the double murder of the mother and daughter. That was one of her sons, and he's in jail now. So now she has to go from a son in custody now to life. The family has been through a lot. Before that, their older sister, one of their younger sister, Joey, she was killed in a double murder a few years ago, And then they had a brother by the name of Porky, who me and him are the same age, and then it was alleged that he was pushed off a truck in Freeport And then just recently, they had one of the brother's brother's daughter, who was just recently charged for murder in the shooting scene that you saw happen on being tan. So all this is just one family. Then they had a little nephew, my boy, Machiavelli. Machiavelli, he watched his mom dead body on the ground. And he's one of the daughter of the family who got killed in the double murder, Joey. And then he witnessed his mom, with her head blown open as a young baby. And, that traumatized him. And now he himself, end up in a life of crime, and he's in Foxwood prison. So if you look at it, it's just crazy, what's happening in our community. We've lost 3 young men who from the community in the space of 3 months. And if you listen to what and why, it's just crazy, So my condolences goes to all the families. And it's all like one corner here, one corner here, one corner here. And just a little mix up, and all us a family in the community, I hope that, we get stronger. And I see people start to console one another around in the community. All the families who have been involved in this shooting, in fact, into the Chinese a few Sundays ago, last week Sunday, I saw Romeo's Miss Elsie, who grew up with my mom, and I love Miss Elsie. They just like my family too. In fact, her son Smokey is my cousin. And she met in the store along with Tommy and Keisha, and their sons was involved in the shooting with her sons, her grandson. And it just shows that we're a family, and some of these things, can be resolved. It's just that, we're older now. We don't know what the young kids are doing, and they're not telling us nothing. But if we just knew what was going on, we could have had a dialogue on this one to happen, So that's what I said. We got to get stronger as a community, more community policing. Okay, we're going to take this call on Inside the Inner City. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside the Inner City on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, this is Mr. Brown.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
You're doing an excellent job as usual.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, based upon what you were saying in reference to the beliefs and everything, I mean, you were right on target, and I could appreciate the fact that you are still taking a stand towards trying to assist people in having a better relationship with the police, and I think that's all you're really doing. You're not trying to create any havoc with the police, because we understand that you're trying to do the best you can to at least have the citizen have a better relationship with the police, right?
Yes, sir.
That's very good. Now, what happened is, since PK Barnaby time on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, senior, there haven't really been much policing. I realized that. What happened is that the police officers today, I was never like the police officers in the past, as I could recall, because what happened now is that even when a police officer comes out of training,
yes, sir,
his mentality elevates into a commissioner of police, meaning that he out on that street and ain't nobody controlling him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I can tell you that.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. One time ago, saying that when you go on a new job, that can be your best performance, because you're trying to now make sure the boss know that you're doing things that would help the organization to move forward, not to hurt it. And you can be fearful of your job. But what I believe happening is that the police force is so condemned right now. I use the word condemn. Tell the ones who come out of training and realize what their friends may have been doing. And they now
pick it up.
And they run with it. Yeah. And they realize that there's no consequences.
Yes, sir,
for your action.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So they come in at an early stage.
Yes,
they don't wait till late. Or like they used to say in the back in the days. You can wait till dark to do wrong. Don't do it in the day. But now you see what happened now? People are now doing wrong in the day more than the night.
Yes.
They're not waiting anymore.
They say they come out of the dark and into the light now. Yes.
Right. So what happened is what happened now? These graduates the people who are graduates who graduating from the Royal Bahamas Police Force College.
Yes, sir.
They coming in with that mindset because their intent is to be just like their friends.
Yep.
And they don't have much people. See, a lot of people that say, You see what the small man doing? Let me tell you something, Mr. Brown. You would know this for a fact. The small man follow orders from the top.
Yes, sir.
So don't mind that. If they robe like that, even though they may be sending up, even though the head may be pretending that he ain't on their side, he's on their side.
I agree with you fully, 100%.
So I don't know who they think they're trying to fool. He's directing them. Because guess what? If you know your boss can be down on you, and you know that's your job, buddy, you can change or you can be, you know that, but in your heart, he ain't got to tell you that no more.
Yeah, you're correct, sir.
But because this is so openly done and so blatantly done, it's because they would say, hey, I ain't worried with them. Do what you got to do. Go back to work. Look at the man who was connected. Look at the police officer. Let me tell you an incident.
Go ahead, sir.
These police officers came on a location. And the location, the person reported threats of death. They arrive at the location. Now, when they arrive at the location, this is what they said. When the person reported to them what happened to them, he said, one of the police officers said, hey, I don't believe no threats of death reports. Just like that. He said, I don't believe no. He said, I just come off of one. I say, when I come off of that report, the woman who reported that she was being threatened, she never come outside. That's why we come here late. This is the 911 call now. He said, that's why we reach here late, because we was on another call just like this, and I don't believe these calls to be real. Now, you think that's anything professional for a police officer to say?
No, he have to investigate. And
guess what he did? Why are you so dumb? The thing about it...
What he is?
That's a dummy.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Let me tell you why I said that. Me being trained in that sort of background, right?
Yes, sir.
I just could say that, right? Then the officer went to the first call, and he didn't see the person who he claimed made the call. You dummy, that's a threat to death call. How you know that the person ain't holding the person inside and they can't get out? You don't just leave the scene. You scan the scene, you try to look through the window, you try to listen to around the house because you get a call for that area. She could be on the ground in the back suffering. You don't just leave the scene like a dummy, talking about nobody answer.
Yes, sir.
You think you're going to Burger King, eh?
No, sir.
What you mean nobody answer?
You get a complaint. You have to follow up your complaint because people's lives can be at stake.
Right, especially when they say it's a threat. Now, let me tell you what. The police officer came there. The person reported the threat to them. They said, that's how they throw it off. Oh, we don't believe these kind of things, right? Now, a young lady came outside who the person was complaining about her uncle.
Yes, sir.
This is what the police officer did. He looked at the young lady, everything going down the drain when he see the young lady. She looked good, right?
Yeah.
Everything going down the drain. He forget everything he come there for. He said, what you saying? The city saying, that time the person waiting. He talking to the little girl. He said, what you saying, man? He said, boy, you look good. Just like this, 911 call,
Uh-huh.
Boy, you look, he saying, boy, you look good.
So
he said, you will look good. If you look good in them clothes, just like this. If you look good in them clothes, I'll imagine how you look when you come out the tub.
Sir, not cutting you off.
Yeah.
In the newspaper, the woman who got hit in the eye, she said this how the argument start now. Just like what you're saying now. If you read the newspaper, the Tribune, that was, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, just what you're saying now. Just what you said, that's exactly how the conflict started, if it is the truth.
Yes. See, I ain't calling no names. I'm only telling you what happened.
Yes, sir.
The officer said, boy, if you look good in them clothes, imagine how you look when you come out of the shower. Right? So she laughed.
Yeah.
Right? And then he say, that time he ignoring the person who he come for the report on, He even ain't paying no attention to them. Yeah. He even ain't talking to them no more. He talking to her. So he said to her, you give me a number? Say, give me a number, man. So she started laughing again. So they going in the corner talking. This is a 911 vehicle,
That's unprofessional. That's past unprofessional. You still there, caller?
With him. Yes. And then the next one say, hey, I could get your number too? Now, this is the next police officer, this is the one who looked like he ain't exercised in months. He said, I can get your number too? He said, which one of y'all want? He said, she going to do us hard and deny.
Still there? Okay, he gone, he left. He made some good points, and yes, that's what we're talking about right now. We need to be able to hold our officers accountable. Like I say, I have no attack on no officers because we really need our police officers in the country. But incidents like what we're seeing, it's not right for what's going on in the country. I want to give a special shout out to my boy, Scrubber. We call him Brookshot. He owns the world famous fish fry restaurant, Joey's Old Fish Fry. And then my good friend, Cardo, who was on the show. Both of them were on the show a few months ago. Cardo owns the Drifters, world-renowned Drifters with some of the nicest set of food that you can imagine. He has my good friend Kendra there. So when you're at the fish fry, please stop by Joey's, world famous, and Drifters, owned by Cardo and Scrubber, known as Brookshot. They sell some wonderful Bahamian authentic food. Like talking about awesome steamed fish, crack conch, steamed conch, the wikes, reasonable price. And if you're looking to get out the heat and want to chill out for 2 or 3 hours, go on the beach, they are definitely the spot you need to check out. Okay, go ahead. We're going to take this last call. Big shout out to Cardo, Fish Fry, Drifters owners, and my boy, Big Brookshot, Scrubber.
Scrooge.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't want to say too much in this conversation. You know Chilito.
Chili and Mason?
Right?
Chili and Mason?
Yeah, you know his case, right?
Yes, sir.
You believe he really do it? Well, what you think?
Well, I can't, it's still before the courts, but, I can't really comment.
Yeah, but ain't nobody know what we really talking about.
Yeah, I know, I'll put it in over there, but...
But I don't know what you think, because he was a street man.
Yeah.
And he ran the area.
Yeah.
Me and him used to work together, that's why
I know.
I wanted to ask your opinion.
Yeah, I know. Chili is a tough and rough guy, I can't say, they've been involved with so many, so I can't say if, just a little difficult. so I can't really say. But go ahead.
You believe he can be found guilty or not guilty? You believe he can beat the case?
He might.
Let me ask you what you think.
He might beat it.
Because you remember the witness died, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, okay, I want to talk a little more.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
Okay.
Thank you very much for calling. Go ahead, you're on Inside the Inner City on Guardian Radio. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, what's going on, Scrooge?
Hey, what happened, man? You been missing it. What happening, man?
Yeah, right here, man. You know it go, man. Your boy who called before that one, we need people like that inside the inner city. He's very enlightened.
Yeah.
Not frightened, right? But, at our age, right, Scrooge?
Hey.
The police officers should really do history. Like, we were now, they right now, like I just Supreme Monroe is saying some innovations, right? Like the parole system, et cetera, et cetera. It's supposed to distinguish between violent offenders and non-violent offenders, right? Sometimes when the police come, they come with these big guns drawn. People have children in the homes, and they really seem so arrogant and so full of themselves, right? So I saw somebody send something about that thing. It was on the court TV thingy.
Which one are you talking about?
The one with the young lady who's punching.
Yeah, with the punch. I need the Tribune.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the new court case thing with the lady who was on Guardian, right? I think that's how it appeaed. I think they have a new... I don't know if that's how it was revealed.
Okay.
But some text was there. I mean, it involves so much different things, but I can't draw any conclusions. But the thing is, I was appalled because, I mean, it's unbelievable.
You see her with a black eye?
And if something like that happened, the officer is a scumbag because you can't expect to do. The thing is, something has to be done, especially in the Bahamas when an officer is an inspector or a sergeant and up and up.
Yeah.
It seems to me as if nothing could happen to them, Scoochie. And this is not we shouldn't be in a country where, you know, they don't use the police against us during the scamdemic, right?
What do you call it? What the name? The scamdemic. The scamdemic.
But I'm hoping that the government wouldn't come up with these scientific dictatorial constructs from the big neighbors to the north about lockdowns and BS again, you know, because, you know, they love to lock me up because my rights supposed to be inalienable, right? You can't allow them to do that. You see how the police officers acted during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
They love this supervised power.
Yeah.
And so the gentleman said it all when he called and talked about.
Yeah, he did very well.
Yeah, they feel like there's the commissioner of police when they graduated. You know why? Because they have been allowed to do that. School.
They have inherited a system.
Yes, and they're arrogant. And schools, and I'll share this with you. You know, I be in the school, and I know some guys who be in the school with my brothers and other people. And I know their mental capacity, right? And for some people who I know who didn't pass the test, I don't think you have a lot of police officers who didn't pass the test. And I mean, I hate to say that, but this is what I feel. That's just what I feel. I feel as if some of them, that's through political affiliation, whatever. Some of them are on the force, they didn't qualify, and they might have slipped the list just below the grade or whatever, and then they just Mr. So-and-so.
But they're still supposed to be in training.
That's the way I see it.
They're supposed to still be in training. Navy SEALs and the U.S. Army never stop training. So officers, even though if they fail, like I understand you saying that because they fail.
But it happens. This is a small community.
Yeah.
Because you think everyone who on the force passed the force?
No.
All right, then. Let's just accept that. That's all it is. Because you can see it. But what I'm saying is, the incident that you were saying, you say with the young lady, you start off with the police officer coming on to the young lady.
And
all right. Boy, you know me, just my boy. I had my little thing up in Waukesha one time ago, right? Where, and she used to walk out to see me. Like, so I just come to in the vehicle, and she wearing these little things one time. So when I look, she got locked up at night, so she tell me what happened. Police officer passed, and he say something, and she ain't responding or whatever, and she have nothing. I mean, she got locking her up and carrying her
over the song,
to the Quaco police station. I had to go there and come and get her because she was released, but she was showing me the whole rundown. But I've seen it even with my niece. My niece little.
You got to speed up.
My niece little yellow, right? And so she walking one night to the corner coming home, and the car, they slowing down. They ain't really said they slowing down, looking at you like, you know what I mean? So you can't. I mean, I know they like women, but they should really know how to be professional. But that gentleman who disclosed that story to you, that is the height of arsenality. Yeah. These people, I mean, Stussy, man, like you say, training, but something like that, he should have reported that. So we supposed to have. How can we say that we are sincere with having a police force that works for a citizen when citizens are not allowed to report nefarious activity or bad behavior? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Come on, man. You're just supposed to accept that as a citizen.
No, we can't.
This
we can't
is the
no more.
arrogance in which they operate with. So, you know, as far as they're concerned, and, you know, the thing is that they highlighted with this, CNU, we had something on the day. So what you got to realize is the law has a way of disenfranchising the poor.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that if according to, you know, if you don't have the money to pursue legal action, then you know what that simply means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you still allow people to go to court without lawyers, without legal.
And they even say you're public defenders, but people don't know what that is.
Rights. When many people, how many more incidents like this you think happened to this young lady?
It's happening.
And I'm very vexed of the fact that you don't hear anything about the human rights and the woman advocate groups or advocacy groups. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a young lady, and they would, you know, I mean, come on, man. But the officer really feels as if nothing should happen to him. Another thing for concern is
you got to how you claim it one.
I just want to get this in. The situation with Dan Knowledge the other day in Dan Knowledge Estates.
Yeah, talk real quick.
Right? They were saying, don't shoot, children are in the house, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a testimony from a 10-year-old son. From a 10-year-old son was wiped under just ignored.
Yeah.
But yet still, the officer's words were gospel. You see gunshots from the top of the door to the back. And
that's what I was talking about a little earlier.
God help us all, but some of them is professionals, you know. Some of them, I telling you, some of them aren't. Thank God for them, you know. Because but I have some of them, while I say handcuffed, brutalized, doing that. I mean, back in the days, they would you be handcuffed, right, Scoozy?
Yeah.
You can't harm nobody.
Yeah.
But they won't beat you while you handcuffed. You think that's right, Scoozy?
No, man, it ain't right. That's what's going on in the States.
It ain't nothing but they doing right, and that's what they saying. And yes, but in the future, with the lockstep, they can use the police force against us, man.
Yeah.
And the police force can be enslaving them own selves because that's how ignorant some of them are.
Yeah,
they have no idea what the global agenda
Yeah.
is. They are puppets in the global agenda. That's all they can say, man. Give thanks. But remember, Scoozy, when they lay down on their deathbed, they get answer to God too, you know.
Yeah, man.
Give thanks.
Respect. Okay, Kermit, if you could. Huh? You want 20? Okay. All right. We just getting ready, and we just want to say this, we have nothing against the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I have nothing against the church. I have nothing against politicians. I have a problem with the system. The system that we inherit, we as individuals who inherit the system from the British, we get these positions, and then we believe we so powerful. Yes, you are powerful. You have the power to change the lives, take away poverty, make the children happy to be living in these communities. You have the power to do that, but you know what you do is the power for? You use the power to oppress us. You understand? That's why the country the way it is now. We would like for it to improve, and that's why we're having this conversation, so that we can improve the working condition between the police and the citizens. We all Bahamians living in this country. Because you put on a red and black, that means you're going to abuse somebody who is an innocent citizen because you have the power to. It doesn't work like that. It might be working like that for you and the organization, but you're creating enemies amongst the citizens in the country. And that's where the hate come in. Man, we could stop community policing. CID should be the last resort in the community where we use force like that. So if we have a person in the community who is rogue, like Mr. Thompson State, who dumb garbage, who sells drugs, but he sells drugs to cause violence. There are a lot of people who sell drugs just to make an honest living, selling nickel and bags because they don't have nothing else to do. And they're not no problem to society, but they're selling something that is illegal. Then you have some who sell drugs, and they're in the gun foo, and a bunch of foo-foo. Instead of them trying to make money, they want to make money and cause chaos and be involved in gang activities. No, that's not what selling drugs is all about. Selling drugs, if you're on the field, it's about staying free, helping your community residents, helping people fix houses in the community, give some, if there's a community leader in the area who does stuff in the community, you could give the little money you're making, buy some Gatorade and help with some tournaments or help paint and fix a house. That's what it's all about. And protect the community and help the elderly, But they said who Ark and Road and stuff. That's what you use CID for. So we have the community police and you get the information. And if you don't want to listen, you want to cause confusion and cause people to lose their lives in the community, then the last resort is when the community turns to the community policing, who and then talk to you once or twice and you don't want to listen, then they turn it on the CID and that's the end of you. Okay? And simple as that. But all in all, we are like from improvements with the attitude towards the citizen in this country, especially against the female. You ready? And this is a song we are playing at Maestro, who plays the opening song. And this is a song that he say to the police. And this is their response to this young lady. Go ahead. It still ain't come up here. It ain't come up here. We're trying to get the music played. We have a few more minutes. It's a very good song, It talks about the police. Here it goes. Maestro.
Maestro, me Diana. Said them officer. Said them off to search me and arrest me. Come like them bubbling boy, one organ caress me. I'm Mr. Officer, what's the story? I aim say shut up boy before wanna be sorry. So them search me and search violently. In the middle of the night them come so silently. I'm Mr. Officer, who give the authority. For come kicking that me door. Now alone. Is it me you're searching for? Hello? I can't take this anymore. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Hello? Why you digging up my floor? So they carry me down at the station. So they want to ask me some more information. Him said, son, are you Asian or Jamaican? I said, no, officer, I'm an African. He said, I see, you're Asians. Why give you 2 bucks, make it talk fast. Before the money like, me know you're not last. My spotty them gonna beat you little ass. Now, hello, is it weed you're searching for? Hello, now, I can't take this anymore. Hello, is it weed you're looking for? Hello, now, why you digging up my floor? I feel my eyes them start lift. Me hear new voices, so me know them machine shift. Said them sliding the plate to make my nose stiff. And when me look up on the plate, I me say egg and grits. And me say, no officer, I'm gonna eat this. I'm on a real restaurant, me just a talk this. Him said, son, what's your name? And I said, my show. He said, I heard your conversation on the radio. Me say, yeah, no officer, they make a mistake. Me not gonna sell the marriage and me only intake. Last night they come in on me house and shake like earthquake. True them know me a Rasta man. Now the searching for country born. Terrorizing me like a time.
Special thanks to each and every one of you listening to the show tonight. And this is my good friend Maestro. He is a very, very talented entertainer, and he is singing tunes that affect us here in the community. And you listen to the beginning, you hear Benton, and I represent Benton. That's his song that he sings about the condition of when you're trying to talk to the police and they're using and abusing their power. And that's what the callers are talking about, our citizens. They use and abuse their powers. The other day, when Peter Nygaard was served a warrant, I watched the police inspector was given a subpoena, and he stood in front of Peter Nygaard place from around 9 o'clock till around 3 o'clock, along with officers. And they couldn't enter Peter Nygaard place. But we have police officers who go in the community without search warrant, and they kick down doors, like the song is saying, and they brutalize the residents without search warrant, lock them up for no particular reason. You understand? And that's a no-no. You couldn't do it to Peter Nygaard. Well, why you want to do it to your own people, your brothers and sisters? And that's why we want improvement. Okay, thank you very much, and we see you next week. Garden Radio 96.9 FM. Maestro.